Thank you. And we have already recalled to order a regular meeting. Can we go ahead and just do a roll call to make sure we're all present?
Anthony David.
Present.
Sarah Moses.
Present.
Ariel Owens.
Present.
Jimmy Olsen. Jeremy Olsen.
Here.
Stacy Rares.
Present.
David Seymour.
Present.
Amanda Harness.
Here.
Chance Phelan.
Thank you. Chance did let me know that they wouldn't be here tonight, so. All right, so we will start with public participation and recognition. And up first is the DHS IHSA State Meet Recognition. And this is going to be presented by Peter Goff. Please introduce our athletes.
It's starting to become old habit, which is really good.
Yes.
That's great.
Go ahead and stand right here.
Great old habit.
All right, I'll get it started. I'm Peter Goff. I'm the athletic director of DeKalb High School, and I have a pleasure to introduce our student athletes who recently participated in the IHSA state tournament down in Eastern Illinois. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then I'm going to brag on our girls team, and then we'll let Coach brag on the boys. So, Mia, go ahead.
I'm Mia Adioti, and I placed in the 4x1 at state.
Ooh.
I'm Kareem Gonzalez, and I placed in the 4x4 at state. I'm Evan Williams, and I placed in the 4x1 at state and the 4x4 at state.
I'm Toriano Tate, and I play at long jump at state.
You played second at state. You're second.
I'm Michael Robinson. I play in the 4x2 at state.
I'm Coach Sarball, the head boys track coach.
We are missing two of our girls track. Soraya Watson is gone, and Elania.
Whoa.
Oh gosh darn it, Alania.
Not
Alani. Thank you. You're always there to help me. That's Arena, and they here. So this is what I'll say. They placed 8th in the 4x100, which is very good. And then in the 4x4, they placed 5th, but they broke a school record. So let's see the old record was 4.00.12. The new record now is 3.59.07. So if you don't know the 4x4, that's one, they handed each other off and they ran around the track once. I got tired watching them hand off. So congratulations to them. I'm so very proud of them. And they make our Wall of Fame. So they'll be taking that picture and they'll forever be up on the Wall of Fame at DHS.
Yes.
Unfortunately, 3 of our athletes could not be here from the 4x2, Ethan Tierney, Jamari Brown, and Maria Davis. But we have Mike Robinson representing our 4x2, who took 6th in the state, and they ran the fastest time in DeKalb in 7 years.
Wow.
And then to the right of Mike, Toriano Tate, he took 2nd place down at state. He also broke a school record that has stood since 1956. The previous record was 23 feet 4 inches, and Toriano jumped 23 feet 7.75 inches.
So just like our girls track team, our boys, Toriano will be up on the Wall of Fame, placing 2nd in state and being all state. And our 4x2 will also be up on the Wall of Fame. So we have a lot of great pictures to start putting up. So there's a lot of good things happening, and I'm very proud to be part of this organization. And it's a lot of fun to go down and watch them at state and watch them turn heads. So congratulations once again, and thank you for what you do. And thank your parents as well, because I saw them all down there as well, and the girls in the rain. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I think we did have some that went to state that also missed graduation, so congratulations on graduating as well.
They'll be recognized on July 28th.
July 28th, thank you. Thank you, Peter. All right, as they go, we will transition to public participation. And note that comment cards must be placed in the comment box in the table. This is not what it normally says. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and criticism of individuals is not in order. And first up, we have Joey Moore to talk about the RISE program.
Do you want me to come up to be closer to the mic, or
Wherever
my
you're,
voice is okay back here?
does it pick it up better if she comes up here?
Over there.
Okay,
In my favorite spot.
thank you.
Awesome. Jeremy, can you hear me okay?
That's awesome, wherever you're standing. Awesome.
Perfect. Good evening. My name is Joey Moore, and today I'm here as the mother of 2 kids in our district. I'd like to briefly speak to you about the RISE Intervention Program, which is a reading program that was held at my son's school this past year. I also sent you the text of what I'm going to read, so there's a few questions in it, but you should all have it in your email. This program is new for our district and has been rolled out over the last couple of years in different settings. What makes it unique is that students are broken into small groups with supported learning from a trained RISE interventionist. These interventionists come from our community, retired teachers, parents, community members who are trained in the program to support student learning. At the end of the program, the outcomes are measured, and many students in my own son's school made big gains over a short period of time. My son was part of this program, and I was incredibly impressed with the gains that he made. Students build relationships in small groups. They were supported with proven reading instructional methods. Alone, teachers might not be able to provide this level of targeted, on-task instruction, but with the help of these interventionists, they can. This sounds great, right? What I would like you to do is ask some hard questions about the RISE program. So these are the questions in my email. What kind of outcomes were seen across the district, and how did we celebrate these outcomes? Will the RISE program be continuing next year? Can we expect the same level of support and staffing for the RISE program? If we're not able to have the same level of staffing, are we going to see the same level of outcomes? And here's my biggest question. What obstacles are currently in place to staff the RISE intervention program? Again, will RISE be continuing next year fully staffed, or is there something preventing this from happening? Please place pressure on district personnel to solve this now, so that when our students return to the building, the supports are already in place. What we need now is advocacy and insight from you all into the obstacles that are currently on the table. Please use your roles to examine what is working with the RISE program and how we can continue to see big gains for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Megan Gherkin, also speaking about the RISE program. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Okay, good.
I'll try and read that.
You have 3 minutes, so
All
don't feel like you have to go too fast.
Alright, my name is Megan Kirkin and I have 2 children in the school district. It's come to my attention that the RISE program may be in jeopardy of not being renewed for the upcoming academic year. My youngest daughter, who was in 2nd grade this past year, was fortunate to participate in the RISE intervention program at her school. I urge you as a board to explore every avenue to ensure this program can at the minimum continue in its current state and hopefully be expanded to serve all elementary grade levels at all of our elementary schools. You no doubt know that smaller class sizes are optimal to see the greatest student gains. You and I are both aware that small class sizes may not be financially and logistically possible. However, this program allows for instructional size to be small during one of the most fundamental blocks of instruction at an elementary level, reading. A student's ability to read is paramount to their success in every other content area. I'm not telling you anything you probably don't already know, but please allow me a moment to share the personal story of my daughter. She's a struggling reader and writer, and during the pandemic, her struggles became more obvious to my husband and me. In the spring of 2021, we had her assessed for learning disabilities, and one of the challenges with assessing her at that time was so many students were behind due to the pandemic and the mode of instruction that was required.
It was hard to discern a developmentally appropriate struggle versus a learning disability. The psychologist recommended she be reevaluated a year later after a year of in-person learning, so he would have more data to support his evaluation. My daughter was a part of the RISE program, which allowed her 1 full hour every single day in small group literacy instruction. Even the psychologist was impressed with the program our district was rolling out. After months of the RISE program, it became evident that while our daughter was making gains, she was not making the gains that would have been expected, and her struggles were different than just being behind a grade level or two due to the pandemic. Her follow-up psychology evaluation determined she has dyslexia. Now we can get her the resources she needs to learn the way she needs to in order to be successful. While the RISE program may not solve her reading challenges, it did make it clear that her challenges were more than just what could be resolved with Tier 1 or Tier 2. For the vast majority of the kids, the continuation of the RISE program will be enough to get them back on track to reading at or near grade level. For other kids like my daughter, it will show that there is something more going on and further assistance is needed. Rather than the wait and see approach, which would have had my daughter likely not being diagnosed until 4th or 5th grade, she will instead get the support she needs now and hopefully will prevent her from losing confidence in her abilities at school. We had the resources to get our daughter evaluated and knew how to go about doing so. How many other parents don't have those resources or knowledge? As a district, we want to provide equitable learning environments for all kids. How can you argue that a program such as RISE is not absolutely necessary to provide struggling readers with the much needed resources they need in order to be successful? It will also help teachers to identify the kids who may need even more support, like my daughter. Please take the time to explore the data from the classroom and talk to the teachers that implemented the RISE program. Do not wait until it is too late. It is imperative to so many kids' success that this program be continued in the coming academic year. Our kids deserve to be able to read, to feel confident in their literacy skills. Please do not fail our kids by failing to act on this program.
Thank you. Well, you want her to share? Oh. And then, last but not least, we have Nina Fontana, also speaking about the continuation of RISE program.
Mine's much shorter. Hi, my name is Nina Fontana, and I'm a DeKalb resident, parent, grandparent, former teacher, and school board member, the mother of one teacher, mother-in-law to another teacher. I was fortunate enough to be asked to facilitate one of the RISE programs this past fall, working with 2nd and 3rd graders at Founders with an incredible team of teachers and assistants. I went back in the spring for the pre-RISE program for kindergartners and 1st graders. I'm here tonight to urge the board to continue this very worthwhile program next school year. As a middle school language arts teacher, I often wondered why those elementary school teachers weren't teaching their students to read or write or even listen. What arrogance, huh? Well, I really learned a lot through my RISE and pre-RISE experience. And those elementary teachers, they have my undying respect and thanks for all they do. But they can't do it only in the classroom. Students who, for whatever reason, come into school unprepared to learn are at a disadvantage for their school years and the rest of their lives. We owe it to our students to give them every tool they need to succeed in school and life. And we need to help them in these early formative years. These are our future citizens. These are our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Montana?
Thank you. Oh, will you share your,
I'm sorry.
do you mind sharing your?
Do you mind sharing your script that you? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next we have board correspondence. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share out? Oh, go ahead, Ari.
I went to field day at Jefferson. It was Joy was there too. It was really great. So Mrs. Zerby is awesome, and it was nice to interact with the parents and students.
Thank you. Nobody else? Okay. Subject D, acceptance of gifts and donations. And this is an action in recognition that the Board of Education accept with gratitude the donation of $16,000 from Bill and Barb Cambridge for the DHS Marching Band Program. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
David Seymour,
Abstain.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Samantha McDavid.
Yes. Are Bill and Barb Cambridge here tonight? No. Well, thank you, Bill and Barb Cambridge, for the generous donation to our marching band program. Next is the consent agenda. Sorry, just a second. And it is recommended that the Board of Education approve, it's recommended that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda items A through O as attached. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson, Jeremy Olson,
Oh, yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses.
No.
And then under old business, subject A. Is the 2023-2025 school improvement plans that were presented by Billy Guermo and Sarah Montgomery, put together by our fantastic SIP teams. And it is an action item recommended that the Board of Education approve the school improvement plans for 2023-2025 as attached. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Jeremy Olson,
Abstain.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
David Seymour,
Abstain.
Amanda Harness,
No.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Next is subject B, the Northwestern Illinois Association 2022-2023 contract, and this is an action item that was presented by Kyle Gertis. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the attached contract with Northwestern Illinois Association. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson,
Yes.
Subject C, additional summer hours, also was presented by Kyle Gertis. Action item, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve 2 additional day of summer work for the bilingual programs coordinator. This, is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez.
Yes.
Subject D, DCTA instructional coaches summer hours letter of agreement that was presented by Deetra Salas, and this is an action item that it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the letter of agreement as attached. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second, roll call?
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
David Seymour.
Yes.
Subject E, PRC course within a course, action item presented by Deetra Salas. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the programs and courses and the course within a courses as recommended by the Professional Relations Committee. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Subject F, DCTA Elementary Art Letter of Agreement. This is an action item that was presented by Deetra Salas. And it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the DCTA Elementary Art Letter of Agreement as attached. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Samantha McDavid.
Yes. Subject G, fiscal year 22-23 salary recommendations for unaffiliated staff. This is an action item presented by Deetra Salas and Cindy Carpenter, and it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the recommended fiscal year 22-23 salary recommendations as presented on the attached spreadsheet. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson,
No.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
No.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
No.
Number 7, new business administration. Subject A is the revision of the 2022-2023 district school calendar. This is information and action by Dr. Minerva Garcia Sanchez. Do you want to go over it, or do you want me to read the action first?
If I may.
Yes.
Recently, we had completed a security audit that was shared with us with Tammy earlier today and with the board. And what we need to do is be able to provide professional development and training to all of our staff district-wide. So in order to do that, we needed to add another day to the beginning for Teacher Institute Day. And we were going to switch the February 17th Institute Day for an August 17th Institute Day, thereby making it 3 at the beginning of the day of the school year, pushing the first day of school back to August 18th. So we're coming to the board today for information and action so that we can get our board, so we can get it approved, inform our families, and also get ISB and the ROE to approve our calendar for next year.
So it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the revised 2022-2023 district school calendar. Is there a motion?
I have a question. Is it necessary to be information and action? Or is it?
It's not. We did, it is, I guess, for time. Is there a deadline to get it to the ROE?
Yes, so because we made an adjustment, the ROE is currently approving all of our calendars for the next year. They're waiting on ours based on the request that I made to share this with the board and get an approval prior to sending it to them.
It is, I'm gonna reread the action. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the revised 2022-2023 district school calendar. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Jeremy Olson,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Subject B, I would like to move or suggest that we table subject B. Would anyone support that and move on it?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Amanda Harness,
Yes.
Samantha McDavid,
Yes.
Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Jeremy Olson,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez.
Yes.
David Seymour.
Yes.
Subject C, memorandum of understanding with DFSS about election day. This is information. Deidre Salas.
Good evening. So ISB informed all school districts that for the 2022 year, Election Day shall be a holiday. With that being a holiday, it affects our employees that are 12 months, or I'm sorry, not 12 months. It affects our employees, but for our DFSS group, it expands the number of holidays for their collective bargaining agreement. So we've talked and we've met and we've agreed to, based upon ISB's requirement, to add an additional holiday for them for this school year.
Any questions? Consensus to bring this back as action?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then next is the subject D, memorandum of understanding with FDASP, and it's about Juneteenth.
Correct. So with the addition of Juneteenth as a federal holiday, it affects our 12-month employees since we are out of school in the month of June. So excuse me, for our FDAS members, that it's not a work day. However, it does add an additional holiday. Excuse me. The election day is a non-work day for them, but Juneteenth adds an additional holiday. So very similar to the DFSS request, this is to add an additional holiday to the FDAS collective bargaining agreement.
Any questions? consensus to bring this back as action?
Yes.
Yes. Subject E is the safety manager position. This is informational by Tammy Carson.
Just clarification, I believe the title would be security manager.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure that there isn't confusion later.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm also presenting with Ben Bale, who's remote with us, so if there's questions that can be directed to Ben, he is welcome to answer also. Teacher Salas has also been part of this presentation from an HR perspective. What we're bringing forth is, if you recall, back in November, we were approved by the board to seek a safety security firm to do an audit of our facilities. That audit's been complete, and the majority of the findings have been submitted to administration. There is a lot of information to absorb and plan for in different priority levels, and that information will be coming forth in a more formal presentation in the near future. But in preparation for that, one of the key recommendations that has come forth is to add a security manager to the district. We had this position, version of this position back, but it was eliminated in 2009. And since that time, those duties have been split amongst many different people, from myself, Ben Bale, other cabinet members, as well as building administrators. And with the recommendations that are coming forth, there are a number of things that we need to be focusing our efforts on to improve our safety security throughout the district and improve our training mechanisms. And with that, we're coming forth with this recommendation to add the security manager position for the upcoming year, so that we can begin to implement more efficiently the responsibilities that are outlined in the audit, as well as other items that we have been considering over the years. Ben, if you've got anything to add, or Deetra?
That's a very good summary. I really do feel that Tammy and I, along with many of the committees, have really pushed the protocols and policies and initiatives about as far as we can go. And adding this position to sort of oversee the fidelity of the work and to continue pushing for best practices would be in the best interest of the district overall.
Thanks, Ben.
Are there any questions from the board?
I have a question. Cindy, the last FTE projection you did for our fund balance out to 26, 27, that's the one I've got it pulled up. It was for May 3rd. Is that that's the last projection we've done? So what additional FTE have we added since then? Did this include the diversity, equity,
No.
and inclusion officer?
No, but it did,
Offset.
well, it did not, no, but I think we're
We're
shifting
shifting
some
on that?
things, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So that's covered in terms of costs.
Within
Yes,
that?
yeah.
Okay. What have we added since this projection, that's not included? Like,
I don't
so
believe we have.
this would be.
Besides, this would be an addition,
Okay.
yes.
And then, you gave 3 projections based on, how we might vote, but is there a current projection based on how the vote ended up, like where we'll actually go to? Or is it one of these 3?
It's one of those, you mean based on,
Based on what was approved?
yeah, it's one of those 3. I mean, it really depends on our funding, and then probably the one that, the tiered one, the one that we tiered it by years, as well as using some ESSER funds as well to support some of those, positions.
So, I guess which one is
I would have to pull
accurate?
it up.
Okay. It was from May 3rd.
Would you like that information before it comes back for action?
I mean, yeah, but she can look at it right now.
Are there any other questions while Cindy's seeing if she can do that right now?
I would prefer to take some time to look at it, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, I just
Yeah.
wondered if one of the 3 was,
Absolutely.
like, you could say which one of the 3 was.
Yeah, and what I can do is roll this one in, and you can take a look at what that looks like.
Okay, yeah.
Are there any other questions for Tammy? Is there consensus to bring this back as an action item?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Subject F, I would like to motion or ask that we table subject F. I don't think we're quite prepared for this request, is that, okay. So, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Samantha McDavid?
Yes.
Sarah Moses?
Yes.
Ariel Owens?
Yes.
Jerry
Yes.
Yes.
And then subject G is an additional DHS school counselor for 22-23 and 23-24. This is informational. Kyle Gertis.
Good evening, everyone. During the 2020-2021 school year, we added several positions to respond to the kind of the disruption in in-person learning. So it was our ability to respond to student need. It was paid for out of our ESSER grant. We went to the board and asked for that position for a one-year position. However, when Cindy and Kim and I, we kind of plotted out what we would anticipate a cost being in the ESSER grant, we kind of put that in there for this past school year, the coming school year, and the year after. So we're coming back to the board now looking to extend the school counselor position, which would be funded through the ESSER grant for next school year and the following school year. And at that point in time, we would evaluate any additional need for that position. It will continue to be to respond to what we think is a factor of being out of school for so long, supporting the increase in student need, as well as continuing to help support some of the increases in 504 plans and some of the other plans that students are now having to have in place that are supported through a school counselor.
Are there any questions for Kyle? Consensus to bring this back for action?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
And then subject H, I would also like to request that we table because it is no longer needed. Is there a motion to table subject H?
So second.
Roll call, please.
Who seconded it?
Me and Amanda.
Who motioned that? I motioned.
Oh.
And then it was Daisy and Ari.
Oh, sorry.
At the same
No,
time.
that's okay.
You
That's
picked
okay.
Jackie.
It's all blurred over here.
That's
right.
you
picked.
Alright, Sarah Moses,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Jeremy Olson,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez.
Yes.
David Seymour,
Yes.
Amanda Harness.
Yes.
Stephanie David.
Yes. Subject I, food service renewal fiscal year 22-23. And this is Cindy Carpenter and Aramark.
So we have some earmark folks here. We have Denise, and I'm probably gonna kill your last name, so if you could. Gimersco. And that's Kirsch. Actually Denise is our food service director here at the district, and Lynette is the regional manager, and they're gonna do a quick presentation before I go through their request to increase the cost for next year. So here is that. And they brought some snacks, so feel free to grab them.
Oh, thank you. Hello, like she said, my name's Denise Jamersko. I'm the food service director for Aramark. Thank you for allowing me to come to speak here for a few minutes tonight. For those of you who don't know that our program, a little overview for you, is we are offer versus serve program. This means we allow students to basically pick and choose their items to make up their meal, still following nutritional standards and regulations.
Maybe I didn't turn it on. That would be important. There we go. Here you go, perfect. Okay.
Thank you. So this is our first year doing breakfast in the classroom at all of our elementary and middle schools. This is off of our breakfast carts. The kids come in the morning, they grab their breakfast, they eat it in class. Middle schools, we do our second chance breakfast as well after the bell. Comes up classroom to classroom, so those kids get that opportunity. For breakfast this past school year, we served 491,820 breakfasts. That is over 270,000 more breakfasts than we did in 2018-19 school year. So clearly that shows that there is a need and a want for this breakfast program. For lunch this past year, we did 602,778 meals, and it is about 49,000 more meals than we did in the 18-19 school year. For a grand total of 1,094,598 meals served for the year. Thank you. Wrap your head around that. Thank you.
First time over $1 million, so.
Yeah, I would personally, I mean, as great as it is, I would personally love to see us do even more. Some things that I believe attributed to these numbers go way beyond just the fact of physically handing meals to children. Aramark is more than putting meals in their hands.
hands, it's about the whole experience, the whole connection between our workers and the students. Having the knowledge that we can instill on students for making those healthy choices is a huge thing for our training. Yes, it's on food safety, sanitation, all of that, but hospitality and engagement is also huge even in the school district. We use at Airmark the acronym WEST, which is welcome, eye contact, smile, and thank you. And they are basics in everyday life, but they are majorly overlooked. But they are the small things that have huge impacts on us and the students. So some things we did this past school year to help engage our students with our employees is a picture up there. We have our ACE, our Airmark mascot. He came to elementary schools. Kids got a chance to high five him, hug him, dance with him. And we did a hot breakfast for all of the students at the elementary school. So they got a little bit something extra than their normal breakfast card item. Our other picture there is our staff members at Founders. They dress up for holidays. Love seeing the reactions from the students with just something so little, and it just really goes to show you how much they do enjoy the job and being part of the students' day. So I'm personally a huge fan on national holidays. Those, you know, National Chocolate Day, National Wine Drinking Day, all my favorites. So this next one we did Lunch Superhero Day. That was a huge one. We had everyone wear a cape and a mask during lunch service, including myself. Probably had a little too much fun with it. But the looks on the students' faces were priceless, even in the high school. Like, they had a blast with it, more than I thought they would. So some things might seem a little goofy that we do, but I believe this really helps the student become a part of our world and makes them more comfortable, lets them open up a little bit, gives them that confidence to ask questions about the food and about what they're getting every day. And they're really the ones whose opinion matters when it comes to lunch. So, one thing I've heard of since I started this position, I believe a little over 9 months ago, was about this deli at the high school. One of my goals this year was to open this deli, and we did it. And I'm happy to say that it was more than everyone was talking about. So basically, it's like our own mini Subway. Kids get to pick and choose from flatbreads to sandwiches, flatbread pizzas, topping with all fresh ingredients, and the line for this was insane every day. But the kids loved it, and it also opened up those opportunities for kids with different dietary needs and specials. We also implemented harvest baskets at every school. So yes, as part of the program, they need to take certain components of every to make up their meal, but if they don't want one of them and they're taking it just to take it, they don't have to throw it in the trash. They can throw it in this harvest basket, and then at the end of the week, we take it over to Hope Haven, which has been more than happy to take everything we've given them. So I feel really strongly that we'll be able to continue this high that we've been on for this upcoming year. We plan on continuing to expand our menus and share our food knowledge with the students, try to help them be adventurous and try more foods. By using our marketing and having visuals at the elementary schools, many kids might not know what a plum is, so having a picture and maybe a short description of it, making sure our staff knows how to explain it to them and encourage them to try it. Continuing to engage with the students, get their opinion on meals that we're offering so we know how we can better serve them, and continuing to make food service fun and exciting experience by taking advantage of all those days like National Bagel Day, National Eat an Apple Day, maybe not the wine day, but the other ones. And I feel like taking what we've already know and the things we've experienced throughout this year, we can really grow and make next year's program even better. So thank you again. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, email, call, if you have any questions. I'd be more than happy to answer.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Are there any questions? No questions? I do, just because I wouldn't feel like like I did justice if I didn't. I did have 2 students share with me through letters they wrote that they did not care for the color of the hot dogs. That they were too pink. So, yes, I do want to just share that with you. But thank you for all that you're doing to build relationships with our students.
Yeah, and I know too, we're restricted somewhat. I mean, a lot of people think, okay, I'm gonna go get the Chicago style hot dog, and well, we can't put all that stuff on a hot dog because we would totally blow the nutritional quality, of course. But yeah, we are restricted, but they do, you know, we do the best we can in terms of what those restrictions are with our meal program, and you know, that's pretty much run by the federal government, and that's how we get our reimbursement. So kind of back to where we're at in terms of our renewal. We've been with Aramark since our 17-18 school year. Prior to that, we were with Chartwells. Every 5 years, we're required to go out to do a complete bid of our program and look for, not necessarily want to look for a new vendor, but we have to go out and bid and go through that entire process. So we're actually just finishing our 5th year with Aramark, but back in November, I came to the board and the board approved an emergency renewal for another year because bidding right now is obviously very difficult, especially off of COVID. And so the state and the federal government has allowed us to do that. And now Aramark is coming to us as well for another emergency increase in their contract due to inflation and also minimum wage increase as well, which we knew about the minimum wage increases, those were coming, but obviously the increase in inflation, the increase of just getting food, the cost of food, they're looking to increase their costs to us by 8%, which honestly I feel is a fairly reasonable cost, and there's support in the documentation that I gave to the board to support that increase, and as well to include in there that minimum wage increase as well, because that's going up $1 per year. I believe in January we'll go up to $13 an hour, and eventually we'll be at $15 in 2025, January of 25. So what we're looking to do is to bring this back at the next board meeting for approval to approve us to go the new contract at the 8% increase for the next school year. Now, starting this coming school year, we will have to go out to bid for sure. They're not going to let us extend it again, unless they do. I don't know. They basically are changing the rules to some extent as we go, because it's going to be a busy year, honestly, because there's a lot of districts that are probably going to be going through that renewal process. And it's a pretty prescribed process that you have to go through and get it approved by the state. And so we'll be going out to bid next year for our food service program. And just as a reminder too, we are in that community eligibility provision. About this time last year, the board approved that. All this past school year, all meals were free for students. And so we are, now it is not, those flexibilities are ending as of June 30. The free program is ending unless they extend it, but we haven't heard a lot about that either. So, but it sounds like those additional funds will be gone for this next school year, but because we're still in that community eligibility provision, we will still be providing free meals to students for the next school year, actually for the next 4 school years. We can renew that again at that point. So that's where we're at too. This is just informational for this board meeting, and then we would bring it back for action at the next board meeting for the actual renewal.
Are there any questions about the renewal? Consensus to bring it back for action.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Subject J, Press Plus Issue 109, Board Policy Updates, and it will be the first reading. It is informational, and Dr. Minerva Garcia Sanchez will be.
So, big difference from 108. Much lighter reading for the board members to review. Any updates that basic language changes mostly. So we'll do a first read. Next time around, we'll come back if we need a second read, or we can just accept them and approve moving forward. So that's all there is for this.
Do we need to, so if we keep it as is, we default to no time limit for, because it's about our public comment, right?
Exactly.
Okay, but if we want to add a time limit, as if there's possible suggestions, then we would need to decide that for our second reading.
At the time of the second reading, correct.
Okay. Does anyone have thoughts about?
So this is just removing the capping of the 30 minutes for public comment, right? And not the time frame for the public comment. That would still remain at 3 minutes.
Yes,
Okay.
and it's the 3 minutes remains. This, right now,
It's just taking away the 30 minutes of that cap on 30 minutes,
So-
is that what you're saying?
Well, it's actually putting a time limit on
Okay.
how long we can go. Right?
Okay.
And so it's still a 3-minute opportunity, but it's just the duration of what that would look like.
Okay.
of that total, yeah. Any questions? Consensus to bring it back
Yes.
for second reading? Okay, yes. All right, subject K, review of board agenda setting procedures and protocols. I did, have our current board policy and board protocols included that speak to how agendas are set. And this is stemming from a request from board member Moses. Board member Moses, did you want to say more about your request, or did you have proposed language at all?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that anything that was placed on the agenda was something that, if it was to come to the board first in closed session, that happened before it be placed on the agenda, and that when we.
I'm sorry, Sarah, can you speak a little louder? I can't hear you at all.
Sure. So what I would like to have put on here is that, or however we want to put the language on here, is that anything that anything that's placed on the agenda that needs to come to the board first in closed session should not be placed on the agenda before it comes to the board in closed session. I think we have clarity on what those items would be?
Mhm.
Okay.
And this is to kind of fall in line with our no surprises policy. I don't know of at the moment, actually, so are you, you don't have necessarily language though
I
to
guess I don't have
propose it?
specific language, but,
Would you like,
I could put something together that would.
is that what you would prefer, or do you want me to work with Steve on just what it could say?
Would it be Steve or Amy?
Steve is our general attorney that kind of handles the things about our meeting, our open meetings,
Yeah, but Amy's the board attorney. She's the one who went over this originally.
Amy is our labor attorney.
Yeah, but she's the board attorney too.
In regards to the Open Meetings Act, it would have to go under Steve. He's our lead lawyer for that.
Well, yeah, but Amy's employed by the board.
Amy's for our labor lawyer.
Right, but she's also the board attorney.
Cindy?
Hodges is our general counsel, I guess you can say, like that handles contracts and Open Meetings Act, that type of thing. Amy handles our like contracts and labor contracts, those types of things, yeah. More human resource related stuff, yeah.
I mean, if you want to suggest language, that's fine.
Mhm.
And then we can work on it as a board if we think there needs to be edits.
That sounds good.
Okay. So then consensus to have Sarah bring a proposal to the next meeting?
Yes.
Is that enough time for you think?
I mean, it's basically.
It's pretty, I think it would probably go under.
Yeah, I mean, like that nothing's information action unless it's an absolute emergency and has to be placed on there. I mean, I think it says that already in protocols. And then,
I think it would go under number 4, agenda development.
yeah, and then anything that involves a legal matter that's contractual, with I guess anybody really, that's a legal matter that's contractual, that should always come to the board first in closed session. So that would basically be it. Is there anything else anybody can think of around that? No?
No, I think that's good. If we have that, yeah, we can review it.
So I can type that up.
Okay. Yeah, is there consensus?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Superintendent's report and update.
All right, good evening. So we've had quite a busy week this week. We've been attending, a number of us, cabinet members and a board member have, and a number of teachers have been at NIU for the social justice camp. This is our second day. We're actually missing a good component of what's going on this evening. We hope that our colleagues that stayed behind will be able to lift us up so that we understand what occurred today. We also have, we'll be there through Thursday evening. There's definitely an experience in understanding where we stand as a district. Definitely an opportunity for us to consider new ideas that we can bring forth to our high school and our middle schoolers. Can't wait to be able to have those conversations as well. And then opening it up, different conversations with our students and our families. So once we come back from that, I'll have a more detailed summary of what that was. So I would invite those of you that haven't attended to check it out next time. So and that's it for me today.
Okay. All right, with that, the meeting will be adjourned. Is there, or it is recommended that the Board of Education will adjourn. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.